So in this video, what I'm actually trying to do is photograph Bee Wolf Wasps. Now I've come to a location sort of in Bedfordshire where they do get a lot of Bee Wolf Wasps here. This is on a hill, it's a very sandy hill, which is the perfect sort of environment for them. They like to catch prey and then they'll dig holes in the actual bank of the sand there and actually take their prey down into the actual holes. So what I've been trying to do today is to actually photograph them in flight. I've been trying to photograph them when they're static on the ground. I've also been trying to video them as they're actually digging the holes, and you often see them bringing prey back, and then what happens is they'll dig the hole and put it in. Sometimes they've already dug the hole, they'll just catch the prey and bring it straight back. But I've been using the 90mm macro lens with my OM1mkII, and it's quite a difficult job. Now this isn't a tripod job or anything like that, it's a hand-hold job, but not just hand-hold like this, it's a lying down on the ground and hand-holding sort of jobs, because you're photographing them probably say 2 or 3 inches off the actual ground there as they're flying in. And it is very, very difficult because any autofocus will struggle with that, picking up a flying insect in flight. But having said that, if you use Pro Capture as I usually do, is when they're on the ground there, I'll lock onto them with the Pro Capture and hopefully get a shot as they take off. But sometimes they will actually stay very, very close to the hole that they're digging, and you can just use ordinary sort of the SH2 mode on the actual camera and photograph them as they take off without using Pro Capture. Now if you attempt to do this, you need a warm sunny day so that one, you can get a fast enough shutter speed to stop an insect in flight, but also they're a lot more active on days when it's nice and warm. Today's a good day, sun's out, it's partly out, it's cloudy and that sort of thing. So I'm going to go on and take some more pictures and take the video. The video I'm shooting in slow motion because they're so fast. If you shoot at normal 60 frames a second, it just looks, you can't really see it, but certainly in slow motion you can see in a lot more detail what the actual Bee Wolf Wasps are doing. So actually videoing sort of handheld is quite difficult, so one of the ways I've actually tried to get over this is to actually shoot in very slow motion, which will help to steady the video out and not make it so shuddery. But I've got some reasonable shots today, reasonable clips, and it's gone over a little bit cloudy now. Ideally for this sort of thing you need the sun out, that's when they're most active. It also, when the sun's out, the light's better, it gives you a fast enough shutter speed to get 3,200, 4,000 a second, even more than that. Now I'm stopping the lens down. The camera I'm using here is the OM1mkII with the 90mm macro lens. I haven't had this lens that long, only about a month or so, but it's the ideal lens for here because I can actually get some nice frame filling shots now. I have been here before, came here just before lockdown around about 2019. And in those occasions, what happened then, I was actually using the 60mm macro lens and the OM1X. Now I've sold the OM1, so I've still got the 60mm macro, but to be honest, I ain't going to use it that much. This is the lens I'm going to be using. But I got some nice shots with the OM1X, but certainly the shots that I'm getting with this OM1mkII are a lot better. It just locks on so much quicker and holds the focus. So the sun's coming out again now. So what I'll do is I'll get down and start to take some pictures. So you can see there's one here that's actually I'm videoing that now. I can see through the viewfinder watching it, you can see that it's actually digging, it's got prey and it's digging a hole up. I'm going to move around a little bit, get a better angle. Fortunately there's a bit of vegetation in front, so you can see it's actually hovering in flight, and that gives me the chance to get some nice flight shots. Well, with a bit of luck. Oh, it's moved. Trouble with slow motion is that if it moves forward or backwards, the autofocus won't lock onto it. Apparently the Panasonic G9 does, fortunately, and that's really spoilt by the fact there's a bit of vegetation in front. As far as stills go, that's not a problem. I can clone that out without too much trouble. But so what I'm actually going to do is move that bit of vegetation. Now I can get my hand very close to it. You don't get stung very often here. In fact, I've never been stung. But it'll probably come back to the same, you can see it's coming back to the same place. And that allows me to get some very nice footage. Well, with a bit of luck. You can see it's got the body underneath itself, and that should actually look very nice in slow motion. So I'm going to finish up showing a few stills and clips from the session, as well as a few shots taken in the days when I was using the OM1mkII. This clip shows that when shooting slow motion video on the OM1mkII, the autofocus will not track the subject. It will autofocus at 4K 60 frames per second, but not in slow motion. And here you can see that as it flies, it goes in and out of focus. Some of these shots are cropped quite heavily in post-production. It's not always possible with a flying subject to keep it correctly framed in the viewfinder, especially when using a fixed focal length lens. Although the 90mm macro does give a greater working distance than the 60mm macro, you still must be quite close to the subject to get a frame filling shot. People will often say that with a 20.4 megapixel file you cannot crop into the images, but I think that some of these images prove you can. Finally, these are a few stills taken when I was using the OM1mkII. At the time I used the 60mm macro lens, although some of these shots were taken using the 40-150mm f2.8 used in combination with the MC14 converter. The advantage of the longer reach of the 40-150 compared to the 60mm was at times very beneficial. The OM1mkII was a very good camera, as these shots show, but when OM Systems brought out the OM1, the autofocus was on a completely different level. I hope you enjoyed the video and found it interesting. Please give it a like and subscribe to be notified of future uploads. Thanks for watching.